right, welcome to your next practicum. This is Davis. I'm super excited to build this with you. What we're going to do first is we're going to build a basically growth hacking experiment idea submission form that links directly with a growth hacking experiment management headquarters. And I think this is great because you can use this form, and I'm going to show you how to use it, both on desktop and also on mobile. So like if you're hanging out with friends and you have an idea, or you want to share a short link with your collaborators where they can submit ideas and they can take responsibility for the ideas that they submit, this is exactly what this stuff is for. And then you can use the spreadsheet that results to manage your experiments and to rank them using the ICE method that you've learned here in the course. So let's get started. And you can follow along with exactly what we're going to be building here in the Growth Hacking Study Guide, which is at bit.ly/easelghguide. All right, so what we're going to do first here is set up the idea submission form. And you can see that we're here at an empty Google form. So if you haven't gotten here yet, then basically you just go to forms.google.com, and again, all of this is in the study guide, and then create a new form. And then I'm going to show you something fun related to the banner and colorizations here at the end, but first let's do the basics. So we're going to name our form something pretty, something that describes it well, like Easel Growth Hacking Experiment Log, and you should name this whatever you want. All right, so there's our form name. Now what we're going to do is we're going to create some sections to this Google form that align with what we want to use in terms of gathering the critical information about the experiment idea that you want to submit so that you can rank them, or you and your team can rank them. So let's do that now, and I'll show you how to do that. So basically each one of these little forms here is a question of this form, and here's how you add new ones. All right, cool. So I want to show you here the different questions that I've included in this Google form. So we've got the submitter's name. This is especially good if you're working with teams where you hold people accountable for generating experiment ideas. Here's the name of the experiment, self-explanatory. Now, before we move past this stage of the funnel, I want to modify this, which will show you how to modify this stuff and also how to use this. So by default, you can see that this is a short answer question of this quiz. Let's convert this to something else. You could use something like a drop down, or you could use a multiple choice. I'm going to use a multiple choice because I like the UX on mobile of multiple choice questions better than drop down. And so you could use the really sort of standard stage of the funnel way to frame this question. Like you could, just use a standard funnel, but what I would like to do is customize this to my use, in this case Easel. So let me show you how I do that. All right, so you're going to see here that I've selected, or I've entered, each of these different stages of the funnel. This is not exactly the basic funnel, it's modified for my uses. So for example, the top of our funnel is being aware of Easel. The next step for most of our users is that they either make a free enrollment or we acquire their email address. Then they become paid students, and then they either study more, so we retain them for longer, or they come back to the course, or they become repeat students in other courses, and hopefully then people like you refer other smart people to Easel. So that's our funnel, and I would prefer to have the experiment ideas submitted in a way that's tailored to our funnel, but if you don't know fully what your funnel looks like yet, you might use a more standard way of describing your funnel. And then with this persona or segment, you can also change this from short answer to something like multiple choice if you've clearly defined your personas, or you're working on a particular segment and you would like to force yourself or other people to focus their experiments on those sections. And then so down here, let's change all of these to short answer, the hypothesis, the implementation plan, and this will mean that people can't enter too long of text, and the measurement strategy, which is basically, how we know what we're going to measure as a part of this experiment. All right, so now we can do something kind of fun, which is we can change this banner. And again, this is optional, so I'll make this quick. So if you click on this button color palette up here, and then you go over here, you have to make the banner the right size, but I'll show you what it looks like. Cool, so now you see that we've created this Easel banner, so it looks kind of fun up here, and I like that. If you've submitted a form like for a certificate for Easel, you probably recognize this. So I like that. And now let me show you a critical setting. You need to go up here, actually over here to settings, and then you need to unclick this require sign in, because that is going to enable, it'll just make this form easier to access for everybody. All right, cool. So now let me show you what we do next, which is we're going to create a short link for this form, which is going to enable you to make it easier. And I'll show you some use cases for that here. So what we're going to do is we're going to click send, and then we want to go over here to this button here and just collect the link of this form. So we're going to copy it, and now I'll show you what we do next. All right, so now we're here at Bitly. This is a tool that you learn here in the course, which is basically a link shortener. And the thing that I like about this is if you go in here and then you put in your form, you can customize the link. So for example, you could say, you know, easel exp, right? That's probably a link that's not taken yet. And then if we save that, then I can remember that anytime I have an experiment idea, I just go to bit.ly/easel exp, and then whether I'm on my mobile device, my tablet, I'm on my desktop, I can submit an idea really easily. So this should facilitate the rapid generation of ideas, which is something that I really like. Cool. So the next thing that I want to show you here is a way to use this. And I'm not going to actually, well, I'll save it because I don't care that much. So one thing that I'll show you here is if you copy this, for example, one way that I like to manage this stuff is if you use something like your Google Calendar, you can do something interesting. Cool, so what I wanted to show you here with Google Calendar is that if you do something like put this link that you've put in here in the title, like for example, submit an experiment idea. So if you leave this link here in the title and then you just define a time of day. So for example, like let's say that we want it to deliver every Thursday at 10 a.m. What we're going to do is we're going to go over here to the repeat and we'll do something like weekly every Tuesday. And then we add a notification here, like an email notification. Then what we're going to do is we're going to automate the delivery of a reminder for us to submit experiment ideas. And maybe this is good for you. It's definitely helpful for me because what it will do is just, you know, inspire you to remember to submit experiment ideas. So that's one way that I like to use this stuff. Okay, so the next step in building your lab here is to actually submit your first experiment idea, and I'll show you why you do that. So why don't we go, actually, we'll take our bit link and we'll go to it, and it should give us access to the form. Cool, so this is not the editing version of the form, this is like the submission version. So what we're going to do is just fill this out with an experiment idea. All right, cool, so what I want to show you is where we got this idea. In the course, you saw that we did a collaborative growth marketing canvas exercise. And so, you know, we created stuff like this, and it's great to be creative, but now we need to convert our ideas into actual experiment ideas that we can manage. So some things that you're going to notice from this image here is like here is this ebook idea. That's one that we starred because we really liked it. Our target audience or our persona became Robert. So then what we're going to do here is we're going to go to the Growth Hacking Lab, and you can see that when we, well, this is the submission to the lab, but basically in the submission form, here's our Startup Thinking ebook. Our target persona is Robert, and I know this is kind of weird because we were doing that canvas for a growth marketing agency, not Easel, so the funnel is going to look kind of weird, but you get what I'm talking about here. We're going to convert what we did in the growth marketing canvas into actual logged experiments that we can prioritize and manage using the ICE system. And I'm going to use this measurement strategy of 5% plus conversion rate. The reason is I've done a lot of Facebook ads, we have a course on it, and I've noticed that like a 2% conversion rate or a 2.5% conversion rate is generally pretty good. And so if 5% actually is what we observe when we do targeted ads, I would say that's especially good. And so that's going to be our measurement strategy. So we're going to submit this. And once we've done that, if we go back over here to the form, you can see what's next, which is to actually build out the lab. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over here to responses. And then this little button up here will create a spreadsheet. So let's do it. Let's create a spreadsheet. All right, cool. So you're going to see that we now have a spreadsheet that has the results of our form submissions, which is awesome because basically we're now going to automate the inclusion of our submissions into our lab. So the next move is to go to this plus symbol and add a sheet. And let's name this sheet something like Experiment Ranking HQ. And then I'm going to move this one over because I want this to be the first sheet that comes up. All right, now we've made this really easy for you. So what you're going to want to do now is go to bit.ly/MayaIce, Maya's Ice. I'll show you what that looks like. It's bit.ly/MAJASICE. All right, cool. So you're going to see here that we're at the ICE form, and what we're going to do is we are going to copy this entire sheet. So you don't need to actually make a copy of this unless you want it for some other reason. It's probably better for you to use like something like Command A and do it twice to then copy everything and then go to the sheet that you've just created. So that's this one here on your new sheet, and then paste it. I'm going to use Command V to paste it, and it might take a minute here. And when it shows up, I'll show you what to do next. All right, cool. So you see that it just showed up here. So now we've got this pre-formatted growth hacking experiment HQ that's all for you that you can customize now. So let me show you the first move that you need to do. So the first move that I would do is just go and delete the existing data. So we're just going to delete this stuff. And then what we're going to do is go here and we're going to do equals, and then we're going to move over here to the form responses, and let's just select this A2. Boom. Cool, so now you're going to have the date created in there, and what we're going to do is we're going to drag this all the way over through measurement strategy. All right, then you see that our data is populated, and I'm just going to drag this little corner like this down to row 100, which is just going to make sure that once we submit ideas, they automatically get built into this experiment sheet. And if you submit more than 100 ideas over time, then you're probably going to need to just do this for additional rows. But so yeah, so you're going to see that now whenever you submit an idea, it's going to go right into your experiment HQ, which is awesome. I love it. So now what we're going to do is rank this experiment idea using the ICE method that you've learned, impact, confidence, and ease of launching the experiment. All right, cool. So I've ranked this a 5 on impact, a 6 on confidence, and a 6 on ease. For some reason, it looks like these two aren't tabulating, so I'm going to try to fix this for you, but if that's the case for you, then what you want to do is go over here and click on this cell, which is L3 in the bit.ly/Maya's ICE, and then just copy that formula by clicking up here, and then go into your first yellow box, and then click that formula, boom, and then do the same thing with this M. All you have to do is copy paste, so just go over here, go here, and then we're going to do the same here. All right, cool, so that worked out. So then let's also do this for this final one, which is N. So we're going to go over here, and then let's copy this formula and paste it in our growth hacking experiment HQ. Cool, and then you're going to see that based on your ICE score, this experiment management HQ will give you the result to discuss, to not discuss it, or to do it, right? And so basically the higher the score, the more confidence it's going to give you in actually launching the experiment. This little who column is used so that you can assign it to somebody if you're working in a team. Now, since we had to copy over this formula, what I'm going to do is highlight L through N, and then I'm going to grab my little, and I'm just highlighting it on row 3, so not 1 and 2, just row 3, L, M, N. I'm going to grab this and I'm going to go down to 100 again, just so that in the future this formula is pre-populated. Cool. And so these will change later as you add in new experiments. So if you want to, you can just do that one by one if all these little numbers bother you. But anyway, now you have your growth hacking experiment HQ set up. So now the next move is to go up here to share, and then just click this button, and then you have to determine how you want to share it with your team. Do you want only you or your teammates to access it? That's up to you, but this is easy to collaborate on. You can allow people to make comments on these experiments or whatever. And then you're going to find in the study guide that there is also instruction if you want to basically create an experiment results tab down here where you want to actually tabulate the success or failure of your experiments and take notes on them. Some people prefer to do that in like a document or a journal or Trello or something I know Maya really likes to use. So that's in the growth hacking study guide. If you want to do that, you can also keep track of the results in this headquarters. But now whenever you launch an experiment, basically you have a place, or whenever you have an experiment idea, you can automatically go to this easy link, submit the idea, it goes right into your HQ, and then you can basically rank it using the ICE format, and then that'll basically help you prioritize your experiment ideas so that you can let data and your own estimations, not your emotions, drive your activities. Rad, I'll keep on seeing you in the course.